right, man. We're ready whenever you are.
Yes. We are ready whenever I roar.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Fraidy Geeks.
Yay!
My name is Dan. I am joined with JT. And you don't get to say your name, Jason. I say your name.
That's fine.
No, you can say it. I don't really care.
I've been listening to a lot of Animaniacs, and you guys have a really cute intro.
Oh, thank you.
Max, Dan, Scott.
No, it's Max, Scott, Dan. I'm always last. It's okay.
No. Well, you get the feature credit.
Yeah.
And Dan.
See, that's cool. Like
Yeah.
But today we're talking about the Exorcist Part 3. And I've got feedback now, Jason.
Do you? Well, I don't. So it's good on my end. Hopefully that.
Okay.
First, before we get into the Exorcist 3, I want to hear your thoughts on the franchise first. Let's just do a quick 2-second, just talk about your feelings on the Exorcist 1 and 2.
Exorcist 1, I like it a lot. I'm not one of the people that are like, oh, that's the scariest thing. I shit my pants. But I think it's really cool. The book is awesome. And we'll get back to William Peter Blatty later. But yeah, it's cool. You?
I like The Exorcist a lot. I like some of the imagery is scary. It's more scary. Mm-hmm. I think The Exorcist works better as an adult watching it than it does as a kid watching it. I watched this movie with my kids and they don't really find it as scary as I do.
Yeah. I mean, I like that Twisted Sister made a song about it. That's fun.
But all the stuff with Reagan in the bedroom is all like when I saw the one you're not supposed to see in theaters or whatever that came out early 2000s. Yeah. That's the one I saw first. So when she's walking down the stairs backwards, that scene creeped me out for whatever reason. But I like
it. Is creepy. I find her just pissing on the floor creepier.
Yeah,
she just wanders 100%. Downstairs and pees herself. And it's like, oh, great.
And then Exorcist 2 is not scary because they keep saying Pazuzu.
Yes, but Exorcist 2 is hilarious.
It is. So, I don't hate it like everybody else does, but I don't necessarily think it's a great movie.
Oh, no, it is not by any means a great film. But I love that, crap, I forget his name, the dude that plays the priest in that one.
Let me pull up his name.
Famous dude, too. But he looks so utterly bored the entire time. And he's just like putting out fires in this stupid hospital.
Oh, I don't even know.
Yeah, I should know that, and I don't. But yeah, like he's the only real name in the whole film. So, I mean, you got Linda Blair, but still.
That's the only one she comes back for.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the Exorcist TV show that was on a little bit while back?
I started watching it and I dug it, and then I started watching something else, and I let my Hulu lapse, so I never finished it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I really dug it, and then for some reason,
it seemed pretty cool.
Fell off. But is Max Van Sydow and Richard Burton? James Earl Jones is also in the second Exorcist.
Yeah. He plays the African doctor guy who's also some kind of shaman.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, Burton is the one.
But the Exorcist 3, which is what we're here to talk about, this movie has a pretty stacked cast.
Oh yeah. First of all, I love the fact that William Peter Blatty hated 2 so much. Not only did he write Legion, the book for this, but he wrote the script and directed it, and he still got screwed out of the final cut because there is a director's cut, which I have not been able to find for cheaply, that has what he wanted, and we'll get back to that as well. But I just love that he hated 2 so much that he's like, okay, I'm just gonna do this myself.
Well, there is a collector's version of The Exorcist 3. Is that the one that has the director's cut on it?
The director's cut is 5 minutes shorter because they cut the actual exorcism out because he didn't want it. And the end is a little more blunt, but we might get to that later.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious to hear how that ending goes. Because, the only Exorcist spoiler in this movie is at the end. But this movie, just like the original Exorcist, has some pretty creepy imagery.
Yeah. Oh yeah. First of all, it's got the best jump scare ever.
Which one are you referring to?
The shears in the hospital. Like
Okay.
it's quiet. You get that shot down the hallway. People are just doing random things. Then everything stops moving, and a nurse comes walking by, and then like right behind it, yeah, there you go. That's
Yeah,
so good.
that was mine too. It's one of my favorite sequences in this movie, and one of the
Oh
best I've
yeah.
seen in a horror movie. It terrified me legitimately watching it yesterday.
Yeah, and as far as the cast goes, uh, yeah, George C. Scott just kills this entire movie. Like if you took the horror elements out, you would have like just a decent detective movie starring George C. Scott, kind of like in the vein of like the first Deadly Sin. But yeah, you've got Brad Dourif as the Gemini killer. Um,
Oh, the acting in this movie is superb.
Oh yeah,
It's really good.
yeah. There's even some callbacks to like different films. Like the guy who says his favorite movie is The Fly.
Yeah,
that's because he's in The Fly.
Father Dyer says, "May the Schwartz be with you."
Yeah,
I got a chuckle out of that. I had to rewind it just to be sure that was the actual line.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm actually sad that spoilers, I guess, that he dies in the film.
Yeah,
like because it's hard to get people that you actually care about in horror movies.
No, 100%.
But for some reason, yeah, you care about the dude that plays Father Dyer, and you care about George C. Scott's detective guy, because that's the only way his whole monologue at the end actually works.
Yeah, and their banter is great too.
Yeah, it's really really good.
Jesus loves you. Everyone else thinks you're an asshole. This movie is great. Yeah. This movie is not only terrifying, but it has some great one-liners.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a nice mood to it. Like it's like how 80s flicks have a definite feel to them, like Ghostbusters and Caddyshack and stuff like that. Well, wait, maybe Caddyshack was 70s. Shit. Anyway, this has a definite like you can't not mistake it for being a horror movie mostly, but then there's like weird believable dialogue going on, and a police procedural at the same time.
This movie is a police procedural more so than anything else.
Yeah,
and I think that's great because I always think that they should take elements from a previous movie and then make the sequel in kind of a different genre-esque. And that's kind of what they did. They kept the horror, but they brought in a different element as far as the what was pushing the plot along in this movie.
Yeah.
And I thought the pace was very brisk. Like the first Exorcist, it feels a little long. This did not feel long for me.
Yeah, I mean the only part that I really have like anything bad to say is like the last 10 minutes or so. But
we'll get there. I mean, hear about the book.
Yeah. Legion, I read it a very long time ago. Yeah, that also had a different ending than either of the two filmed endings. But because the Gemini killer is just killing people from the cell, but his whole reason is because he wants to shame his father. And so when the Gemini killer's father dies, then he just leaves and he kills Father Karras in doing so, and that's the end of the book. So there's no feel good moment there at all. Yeah.
I think that would work with this movie better.
I like the ending that they didn't film, but I mean, as far as it goes, like the ending of this is bombastic. The normal cut, like you get the one father that they added the studio added him so they could actually have an exorcist. And he goes in and tries an exorcism, and it does not work well. And so Lieutenant Kinderman comes in. That's George C. Scott, and he just he starts ranting and raving at the Gemini killer / Father Karras. And yeah, there's some weird special effects. There's a hole in the ground, and poor souls are reaching up, and Father Karras, takes over the body away from the Gemini killer, and then Kinderman shoots him. The other shot ending is just Kinderman comes in, talks to him a little bit, shoots him, leaves. I like that one so much better.
That's funny. But yeah,
because go ahead, man.
Oh no, continue your thought, because mine is a different.
No, like through the film, you see Kinderman, ponder these things, like what is the right thing to do at any given juncture here, and when you've got some killer returning from the grave that you can't put away, who's just controlling senile people in a hospital. Like, I guess you just shoot him in the head. Yeah. That part was cool. I like that.
Oh, that part terrified me. It was just like Reagan coming down the stairs backwards. That whole lady, everything about her was creepy.
I love that lady. She's awesome. Are you here to fix my radio?
That's my telephone. So obviously you're not the radio repairman.
Yeah. Just like the whole thing in the very short Samuel L. Jackson cameo with a different voice.
I don't
in the dream sequence. Yeah.
I have. See, I'm going to watch this movie again.
Yeah. This is one of my, I can't really say favorite horror movies, but like I really like this one, and I've watched it many times.
So it's one of your favorite, like, underrated horror movies? Because this movie is highly underrated.
Yeah, it's got like a 50-something on Metacritic.
It has 48.
Yeah, see? Jesus. That's not... even performances alone should bring that up.
You would think so.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just because the people back then were just not ready for a movie that was more or less a completely different story than the original. It doesn't follow Reagan. It has some of the same characters and references, but it's not the same kind of story.
But they already followed Reagan in part 2, and look what the hell happened there. Let's get a director who doesn't even want to do a horror movie, because that sounds like a great idea.
Absolutely. The only real negative I have for this movie is pretty much the same thing you have, is I feel like the exorcism was kind of just thrown in there.
Yeah, it definitely was, because it's not in the book.
It feels thrown in there. Like, this movie's called The Exorcist. We got to have at least one. I'm glad they weren't like, we got to have more exorcisms.
Yeah. There's a whole line of them going in. Like, it's like the part in Airplane, when they're trying to get the hysterical lady to be quiet. They're like, oh, I'll handle this.
Wilper walks in. You get an exorcism. You get an exorcism. Exorcisms for everyone.
Yeah, this is, I don't know. After part 2, that this is much more down to earth, and like, half the script is just the priest and the detective guy pretty much mourning their old friend and hanging out. Yeah,
and Brad Dorff is so good in this movie.
Brad Dorff is good in everything. Like, one of the little film snippets that I wanted to bring to the Mike McGee, experimental thing the other day was Brad Dourif's death scene in Dune. Because by all means, that should not work at all. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He just breathes in the poison and goes, "Gah!" and falls over. It's hilarious, and yet it works for some reason.
I haven't seen a lot of his stuff. I've seen, obviously the Child's Play movies. I've seen this now, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, he's in an episode of the X-Files. He's pretty awesome, and he's in a lot of stuff, man.
Well, I'm definitely going to be checking out more Brad Dorff stuff because this really 100% sold me on him.
Yeah, I think he's been relatively underrated for quite a while now.
Oh, he was in Blue Velvet too? I don't remember him in Blue Velvet.
He's one of the side characters, but...
Okay.
No, I mean, you put him next to George C. Scott, and they're both basically eating the scenery for a while, and it's great.
Yeah, it is.
You know, if you've ever seen Network, I mean, George C. Scott can throw a tantrum and yell. or Patton. One of my favorite movie lines. When you stick your hand in that pile of goo, this is a second ago, was your best friend's face, you will know what to do.
I have not seen Patton. That's one of the movies I need to see.
It's one of those historical movies that kind of ends on a downer because that's what happens. It's like you ever see the John Adams series?
I did not.
With that one guy that played Santa Claus and the Contract Killer in the same year.
Yeah, Paul Giamatti. I love Paul.
Oh yeah, he's great. But the problem with John Adams is that like all the action happens early in his life, and the rest is just bureaucracy. So, you know, and you can't really, you know, put in another war just to make a big, you know, slam bang ending. So, but anyway, off topic. Back to The Exorcist and not John Adams.
How different are the Exorcist books from the movies? Like, would it be worth me picking them up and reading them?
I really like the way that Blatty writes.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm going to say it's worthless, or it's worthless. It's worth it regardless.
Okay.
But this is relatively close to Legion, and The Exorcist is relatively close to the first movie.
Yeah, because he wrote the script for both movies too.
Yeah. And I have both versions of The Exorcist 4. And it's interesting, but he never wrote the book on that one.
I've seen the beginning. I have not seen Dominion.
Yeah. Because the studio took the film away of the dude directing it and decided to go their own route.
I don't remember the beginning very well. Are either one of them worth revisiting?
I own them both, and I can't really remember. So I'm going to say no, because they obviously didn't leave an impression on me. But I should probably watch them again at some point.
Yeah, because I don't remember them either. Like I said, I've seen the beginning for sure.
Yeah. But this one you should definitely check out if you've never seen it, because it's awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the corniest part is when they pull Kinderman's daughter away from the killer shears. There's something about that shot that I hate. And I'm not sure. Yeah, it's like they filmed it like with a wide lens, is to get, you know, the point across, but it just something about it feels really off.
I thought he got her, by the way, or I thought that the old lady got her because of the way it's shot. Yeah, I agree. That was jarring.
Yeah, like because it had me before that, because the old lady's and there's my ceiling. But the old lady is just like creepy. Mm-hmm. You know, and she's like, "Oh, I've been waiting for you," and I'm like, "Oh boy, this is gonna be good." And then you get that shot, and it's like, well, maybe not. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it's a cool flick. It was made in the '90s, so there is some pretty bad blue screen going on. But yeah, like the whole crawling on the ceiling. It looks, you know, believable until you look at it closely. But yeah, I mean, they did what they could. They had a great author who was doing everything on the film, and some great actors.
Yeah, no, this is a good movie. So, I give this movie 3 out of 3 geeks. I would absolutely recommend this movie to Max, even though he's not a horror fan, because it's more of a psychological movie than anything else. So yeah, this gets 3 out of 3. I was very excited to watch it, and I can't wait to watch it again.
I'm gonna go with a 2.5, but because I like decimals. They're nice.
I do too.
There you go.
I thought we could have decimals, Dan.
I was doing it regardless. So,
so was I.
But yeah, it's a cool flick.
And check it out, guys.
That's all I got.
We don't have a closing for this podcast, so have a great day.